Well, good morning. This is what, day 5 of aquasport madness. I know I'm not the best at filming. Right now I'm doing it with my phone. Too lazy to pull the GoPro out, I guess. But today is check the engines out day. I'll walk y'all through this morning and let y'all get a good look at the boat. I cleaned it up pretty good, got the tower stood up. I left the station off and left the floor off. Just makes it easier to take it off and on. I'll mock it all up when the boat's ready. And I gotta change it around because I want to make it where it's easier to flip that station so you can trailer the boat. Right now, my plan is to probably put it in the water in the spring, slip it all summer, and then pull it out in the winter and bring it home in the summer or in the winter. But as most of y'all know, I don't have a shop here. I work out of one of these little sheds, and it's cram packed full. I got to figure out how to make some space for this new project. So I got a 300 horsepower Suzuki in different stages of disassembly. I'll show y'all around in here. See, I got a freaking mess. It's all DF 300. All the plastics. I got cowens up there. Yeah, fishing poles. I'm a freak for my fishing poles. And I got the Yami, a 70, parts 25, a couple lower units. I don't even know what all I got in here. There's the top to the upper station. So yeah, I guess it wasn't as simple as just pulling that station up. You had to separate the box. And there's the box. So yeah. And that's the floors to the tower. I'll go ahead and give y'all a walkthrough this morning so y'all can see this thing. She actually cleaned up pretty good. I mean, like I say, she needs work everywhere. All the railing, all the paint's thin. But that's par for the course for 1986 aquasport. Don't really like how that fish box is designed. I'm thinking this is an aftermarket thing that somebody did because I've never seen one with it. So we'll straighten that out. As you can tell, the whole back deck floor is completely rotten. But the cool thing is the whole deck pops up. So you can pull that out and rebuild it like it's a hatch, which makes things pretty simple. Somebody had replaced the floor in this cabin. And it needs to be pulled back up. It was never fiberglassed. They put screws in the stringers instead of bedding it with epoxy. It's a mess in here, as you can tell. Still trying to figure shit out. Nice little bathroom. Like I say, every inch of it needs work. The steps are fucked up. I mean, there's trash everywhere. Wiring's a nightmare. But the only cool thing about this thing is everything's very simply built. The whole back deck comes up. The only other part of the deck, you know, the hatches over the motor, which are right here, I mean, they just pop off. I mean, if they needed to be rebuilt, and actually they're in pretty good shape. I mean, they need some work. Shut this. Get my pop-up sprayer out the way here. Kind of give you a sneak peek into what I'll be doing today. I don't think the motors are, hold on, I know them. Yeah, I don't think the motors are actually any good. I think they're locked up, but I haven't looked. So that's today. That's what I'm doing today. I was planning to pull them out anyway and redo, you know, either rebuild them or get some new ones. I mean, they're, I believe, the original motors to the boat. So you guys have some hour meters on the dash there. One says 2300, the other says 25. I'll be honest, I'd like to put some 6 TB Cumminses mechanicals 12 valves in here. I think that'd be a cool little project. Parts are pretty cheap for them if you can get a decent motor. But let me show you a little peek of what I'm working with in here. So the middle hatch pops up for quick access, and then obviously these 2 side hatches come up right over top of motors. But they look pretty rough. We'll see. I'm gonna put a fresh battery in it, put a wrench on the front of the motor, try to figure out what some of that fucking wiring is. But first things first, we're just gonna hook it up and see what happens. Other than that, I'll walk you up front so you can kind of look at the rest of the boat. Tower's in pretty good shape. The kid that took the tower off, not sure why, but I guess the bolts were froze up and that was his plan of attack. He just sawzalled the fuck out of it, I guess. I don't know. So all that's got to be fixed, but it's in pretty good shape. It's pretty solid, which surprised me, being it's a bolt-on. You can see the caulking around that one. That one's pretty solid. This whole area is soft out. You can see it. So cabin roof's got to be worked well. Other than that, the only other soft spot up here is right here in the pulpit, which is one of the more aggravating places to try to fix. But shouldn't be too bad. That's another thing I want to do today, see if I can straighten that out, because that's going to aggravate me just looking at it. But I'm pretty impressed. So today I want to get the hoses for the upper station off and thrown out. Damn, I didn't see that. Yeah, little crack there. Just needs to be fixed. Some welding. Alright, this is getting a little long. I'm going to get my ass to work here, I guess. Try to have some fun and see if I can get a motor to turn over. That would be pretty cool if I can make them run. I think. I don't know. I don't know if I care or want them to be honest with you. Because I think the way my plan of attack is going to be is right now I'm checking systems, trying to get as much junk out of the boat as possible. And then I'm going to pull the back deck up, and we'll fix the deck and whatever is underneath that needs fixing. I do have some pretty good access with these hatches in the deck, and was able to look pretty good. Everything looks pretty decent, other than being, dirty as hell and neglected for years. A little bit of mud buildup in the belge and all that good stuff, but for the most part, for a 1986 boat that has been passed around, sat in the marina for years with nobody messing with it, sat in the water for years with nobody messing with it, the boat is not in bad shape. Nothing super structural. Like, most of the stringers look good from what I can tell. I mean, you start pulling stuff out like motors and exhaust and clutches, and you'll find some, problems here and there. But for the most part, it's looking pretty decent. Boat's built kind of odd, but we'll go through it and see what it all is. I mean, I'm not a big Mako fan. I've rebuilt a couple of them, and everybody's crazy about them, but I think structurally they are goofy boats. Only thing holding the Mako together is the foam. So this one seems a little better than that, in my opinion. I ain't found any foam anywhere, which is a plus, other than the chlorine in the deck and all that. From what I can tell, I think the back deck is balsa, which was common in the 80s. I may be wrong. I was told that from research that the stringers and stuff are foam core stringers, which, is fine as long as, it's not getting water in it. And other than that, the boat's solid glass. I mean, the sides are solid glass. There's no wood in that. I do want to probably add a layer or two of 1708 epoxy on the sides and the back deck to strengthen the sides. It's a little bit flimsy. Maybe put a rib or two in just to stiffen it up. There's a bunch of stuff. One thing at a time. We'll figure it out as we go. Alright. So, just checking the motors out. And the port motor is locked up. Starboard motor spins over. Starboard motor, the starter's bad. Port motor, the starter's good. Port motor's a counter rotating engine, so I can't take this starter off of it and switch to the other just to get a good spin on the starboard motor. I don't know if I said that right. Port motor to whatever. But let me just show y'all what I got going on here. And feeling a bit overwhelmed, and it's mostly because of the fucking wiring mess. Holy mother shit. There's wiring and hosing, and I have never, ever seen such a clusterfuck. But I think the plan is, just like it always was, strip everything out. Remove all the wiring. Everything's got to come out of this boat. I do see some tabbing in the fiberglass up against the front wall here that's peeled off. That's got to be grounded and re-fiberglassed. I mean, there's everywhere you look, there's something that needs to be done. Let me show y'all around down here now that I've got the hatches open. Right, so there's the port motor. And actually, to be honest with you, it's the better looking motor. It's not super rusted. or anything like that. But you got a little hole there where you get access to the flywheel. And put a screwdriver in that. Couldn't get it to spin. Now the starboard motor, as you can see, shitloads of rust buildup. Starter's all rusted to shit. But it spins. Now, can y'all see this freaking wiring, hosing nightmare? There is crap everywhere. So, one interesting thing about these boats is the Aquasport Turner Masters had, for lack of a better speaking, the wet manifold, the boat manifold, the wet exhaust molded into the boat. And that's it right there. Oh, let's see if I can see it. That's it right there. It's molded into the boat and shoots out the side of the boat. There's the muffler and the very interesting exhaust system. Well, that's what we got there. I was concerned that there wasn't room for mufflers, but it looks like somebody's already modified and put a muffler on both sides, because I think originally these boats didn't come with mufflers and they were loud as hell. Let me turn around. As you can see, the mess is everywhere. But anyway, I think I'm going to put these hatches back on and walk away from this section of the boat for a hot minute. I might leave the hatches off and we'll start taking those controls and shit off so I can get those hoses out the outside pulled out. Yeah. Whew. A lot of work. All right. Figured I'd give y'all a little update on what happened today. It wasn't a lot of visible progress, but here, I'll show you what's in the back of the truck. It's all trash, wiring, mostly wiring that came out of the boat. See my beautiful right there, she's all upset with me. Been on this thing not showing her no attention. But all right, so water tank was right there. I removed it. This old aluminum tank, it was, you know, holding water, wasn't leaking, but it had some pretty good corrosion. I think I'm gonna replace it with a stainless tank. I don't like the thought of drinking out of an aluminum tank. Most of the stern shit looks pretty good. Steering, cleaned up the belts a good bit. I don't know if you can, from this morning, see the difference in the wiring and hoses. And like I say, that motor will spin over. This motor will not. I even took the starter off of this motor to make sure it wasn't engaged and locked up, and the motor's still locked up. I took the spark plugs out, squirted some PB blaster in it just to see what happened, but regardless, yeah, you see all that. Pretty much looks the same, other than wiring and all that. But I'm gonna have to go back to work here. Sunday I fly out to go to Houston to go back to my day job. So this thing will be sitting for about a month without me touching it. So tomorrow I want to try to get the rest of the wiring and hoses that I didn't get out today, that I wanted to figure out, because the boat's wired 12 volt, it's wired 110, and it had an air conditioner in it from the factory, a hot water heater, all these different redundant systems. Plus you got the tower, so you got double the wiring going up there. So I've just been methodically taking it all apart. So tomorrow, just want to get everything to a good stopping point, get the controls unhooked, get everything unhooked from the motor, get them ready to be pulled. I'm going to have to pull the tower back off and the lower portion of the tower. This boat sits so tall that I'm going to have to make something like a gantry setup for pulling the motors. That way I can get them out of here. And that means the aluminum framing and all that's got to come down, which is fine. I'm going to carry it to the welder, get them to fix where the person before me cut the crap out of it trying to get it down. And there's a couple of bars that are broke, and I'm just going to go ahead and get it all welded up and fixed. And then it can sit in the back. Once I get the motors pulled, then I can get everything clean. See where I'm at, see how much fiberglass I got to do. I have gotten 30 something years worth of Belge mud out of this thing today, and I don't know if you know what Belge mud smells like. It is not very pleasant, but for the most part it's pretty clean now. So I always clean up, get stripped down to bare necessities, and then start building back up. And this boat will get stripped all the way down. The only good thing that I can see that I don't have to mess with, the fuel tanks look like they're brand new. So that's a big cost and burden off. Although when I pull the back deck off, the tanks are right there, easy to come out. So I'll probably pull them so I can get under them and clean and do all of that. But yep. Anyway, well, good evening. I will check back with y'all tomorrow and try to get as much recorded as I can before I go back to work. So y'all have a good evening.